Hey everybody, it is John Brown, the one and only Bandana Gamer, coming to you today with a bargain bin brawl. Over Black Friday weekend and Cyber Monday, there were two games in the same genre with kind of the same appeal that fell into the bargain bin. They were around $15 to $30, depending on what retailer, and I expect we will see them at that price again very, very soon. And that was Team Sonic Racing and CTR Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel, the remake of the PlayStation game. Both of these are mascot kart racing games, kind of in the vein of Super Mario Kart. I will probably reference Mario Kart a couple times in this review. I played around with both of these. I haven't completed them, but I got enough to kind of give a general overview and opinion on each. So, and I'm going to do that, give you that, and then at the end of this video, I'd like to share with you which one I think you should probably pick up based on my preference. So, to start off with, want to talk about story. Both of these games have a very similar story. An outside bad guy that we've never seen before in the series comes in and decides to make everyone race. For Crash, it's some alien. For Sonic, I believe it's an alien raccoon with a handlebar mustache. I don't understand why kart racing games need stories. I think the only one that's really ever successfully pulled it off was Diddy Kong Racing, and even then it felt kind of forced because it doesn't really ever make sense why good guys and bad guys are racing together, why the good guys are trying to beat each other, etc., etc. I don't come to these games for story, which I'm a narrative gamer. I would rather play the campaign on a Call of Duty game than the online multiplayer, but I don't come to mascot kart racing games for story. If I had to pick one, I would probably choose Team Sonic Racing, mainly because the main bad guy is, like I said, a raccoon. They call him a tanuki, which I believe is Japanese for raccoon. And that, to me, at least feels like a shot at Nintendo, which is kind of funny considering the game is on the Nintendo platform. But it kicks a little nostalgia twinge up because I really miss the days of the console wars and Sega versus Nintendo. That was the area I grew up in gaming. And to have Sega make a little swipe at Mario just reminds me of the good old days. So I guess on story, I take Team Sonic Racing, but it's one I really don't care about on either side, and both are fairly weak. Graphics and presentation. Team Sonic Racing, while it looks good and looks okay, there's nothing that really stands out. There's not a lot of special animations that catch the eye. The levels look fine. Like I said, there's story and there's cutscenes to go along with the story as you progress in the main adventure mode. It's very disappointing because the figures are just 2D flat, non-animated. There's a voiceover and a text box, but you don't get any motion, and it just switches out which characters are talking, so it doesn't really do anything that much. It doesn't look bad. The cars travel at a smooth frame rate. It's fine to look at. It's just not anything to write any letters home about. There were a couple of times where I wondered if you could tweak it down and get Sonic Team or Team Sonic Racing to run on Dreamcast, which is not a knock. I love the Dreamcast. It just wasn't graphically impressive. Now CTR, on the other hand, looked amazing. The characters were wildly animated in ways that looked neat, caught the eye. There was an amazing amount of texture on the tracks. The levels looked good, looked like they really fit into a Crash Bandicoot game. The overworld, which is where you kind of decided what race to take part in, looked great. You drove around in your car to it, versus Team Sonic Racing's overworld is like a Super Mario Bros. 3 map, where you just have these paths to square boxes that indicate what level you're on. And once you beat a world, you just move a page over. So Crash Team Racing looked really good. One of the really nice effects is I loved the tires and how mud would cake on the tires when you ran through a muddy area. So this game, in terms of graphics and presentation, definitely was the better of the two. Overall gameplay. Overall gameplay and presentation and voice in that sense. Crash Team Racing plays a lot like a Mario Kart game. It is very clear they are trying to just kind of shoehorn their character into that style game, and their aesthetic into that kind of game. The weapons boxes are very much the Crash Bandicoot boxes, which look a lot like the Mario boxes to start off with. You jump to initiate a drift, which feels very Mario Kart. However, the one area it felt the most like a Mario Kart game is not a good thing. When you start off the game, you have one cart for Crash, and it is a very weak cart. And you have to kind of grind and play races over and over again to unlock Nitro, which then, at certain amounts of Nitro, unlock other things for you to play with. This always felt like having a poor cart configuration in Mario 7 and 8. No matter what I would do, I would always feel like I couldn't quite get enough speed to get past the front guy. The weapons, when they fire, launch your opponents super far ahead of you, and by the time they've recovered, you haven't caught up to them, and they're still able to get up to top speed. It just never feels like the cart is quite right. It's a very hard game. It seems like to win, you have to hit a perfect run, which is really hard in a game where you have weapons being thrown at you. And even if you hit a perfect run, it still feels like that first place person is never within reach, and nothing you can do can actually pass them. So gameplay wise, I really did not enjoy this game. It really turned me off. Team Sonic Racing was able to create its own voice and own place in the mascot kart racing genre. One thing I really loved that they did was it's a different style of race. It is a team-based race. Team actually means something in the title of this one. In this one, you can win the race, but that doesn't necessarily mean you win the event. You have two other teammates. If you are playing by yourself, they are AI. It seems like this game is much more designed to be a multiplayer and a cooperative multiplayer. But the whole point is for you and your team to finish with the highest amount of points, and you do that by placing the highest. So the best combination to win is one of your teammates getting first, second, and third. The AI is okay. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of strategy to it when you're when you're playing it by yourself, but the teammates do allow you some allow you some help and ways to make the race a little bit easier. There are some really cool tactics in team gameplay. Like if you get a weapon, you can switch over and give the weapon to a teammate, or you can offer it up to a teammate. You can also request weapons from teammates. The lead car of your team, whoever's in the highest position, creates a slipstream which you can get into and boost out of and slingshot around to kind of get a speed boost. And so there is a little bit of that element. If it's AI, it doesn't feel as natural, like you're trying to do these things. It kind of feels like they just happen. But if you're doing well in the race, your teammates should be placing high if they're AI. So this is a unique voice and a unique strategy, and I enjoyed playing this game. I had a lot of fun with the regular style races. Progressing the story, the only complaint I have is there's these weird time-based challenges, get enough rings, drift enough, things like that, and they're kind of obnoxious. And there are times where you have to do them to pass through to the next phase of the story mode to continue to unlock characters and cars and things like that. Didn't really enjoy those, but I did like the main racing elements. So, if it comes down to it, if you are looking at these two games, which one do I think you should pick up? I definitely think you should pick up Team Sonic Racing just because while the graphics aren't as good, this is a funner experience and one I will probably come back to. While the difficulty and just the nature of the game feeling impossible to actually achieve a win in Crash Team Racing, I probably am about done with that one. So that'll about do it for this one, my friends. I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.